Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. On Friday, news broke of the intention of some southern minibus drivers to take protest action come Monday. The secretary of the association says drivers will be staging a sick-out as they are unhappy about the COVID-19 protocols and how they impact the bottom line of southern drivers. But the president of the association, Philip Jabatis, says he has no knowledge of this protest action. Attempts to reach the secretary of the association were unsuccessful up until news time. In other news, the General Secretary of the CSA, Claude Paul, says the association will continue to deal with the matter involving the reassignment of the former Chief Acting Transport Officer simply as a grievance. This despite word of legal action by Transport Minister Guy Joseph.
Transport Minister Guy Joseph on Tuesday put the CSA on notice when he said that claims made by the association in a recent letter to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Transport were serious allegations. The CSA penned a letter to the ministry after it said that the association did not receive a favorable response from the said ministry. Claude Paul is the General Secretary of the Civil Service Association.
As far as I'm concerned, we're dealing with a grievance. We have referred it to the Ministry of the Public Service now. Since it couldn't be solved by the line ministry, the next step in the grievance process is to go to the PS in the Ministry of the Public Service. We have copied it to the CABSEC because the CABSEC is the chair of all permanent secretaries. Since that's a matter at the level of permanent secretaries, we want to keep it there. And that's what we will do. We'll continue to deal with it as a grievance of our member.
There have been allegations of preferential treatment being given to a select group of public servants by the CSA. Paul said that is a non-issue.
As a grievance is started when a member comes to the CSA and make a complaint. So this is what is here. Somebody has come to us and we have followed through, investigate, ask questions, have meetings, do what we have to do. So that's the point. As long as a member comes to us, we follow through.
In the letter addressed to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Transport, the CSA said that prior to a September 4th meeting with other senior public officers, they were advised that the member in question was repeatedly asked by the minister about her refusal to take action relating to the deregistration of a vehicle belonging to a returning diplomat. Paul said the association is prepared to defend its position.
Everyone has a right to pursue whatever action they deem necessary in the circumstances. I think we are solid on what we have said, and we will defend our position if we have to. I am not perturbed by whatever other persons choose to do at this point in time. And as far as I'm concerned, when I have nothing positive to say, I say nothing.
For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
Newly elected president of the St. Lucia Teachers Union, Don Howell, says there are differing opinions as to whether teachers should return to classrooms. He says after the initial announcement, there were many concerns. However, after much dialogue, teachers have agreed that the request to return to schools should remain strictly optional.
Teachers now have the option of seeing small groups of students or participating in one-on-one instruction with students with specific needs. Not all have, however, expressed satisfaction with this decision. President of the St. Lucia Teachers Union, Don Howell, says many concerns have been raised about the announcement, but some are ready to take on the challenge.
After much discussion, we had agreement with the ministry that this would be optional and that if anybody were to go in, it would be in a small group of a one-on-one engagement, but that was optional to the teacher. We, of course, are very concerned about the health and safety aspect of it. And one of the concerns was that the union had been working with the ministry on protocols specific to the education sector as it relates to COVID-19. And that is still in draft. And you have persons going into school and the document is still in draft.
He indicated that while the return is completely optional, teachers must be commended on their dedication.
Everyone is at a point where we don't know what will happen with the pandemic. What is clear is that everyone wants education to continue, and but we want it to continue within a safe space. Teachers are very dedicated people. They love what they do, and certainly these circumstances that they are in with COVID-19 would have put significant stress on the education system from all angles. Notwithstanding, you would recognize that there would be concern from all stakeholders involved.
Howell says teachers were baptized by fire when it comes to the adapting to the new modality of teaching. However, they have done well.
Clearly, there's a lot of gaps, a lot of need for training that had to be done. But I can tell you though, that teachers, by and large, teachers went above and beyond the call of duty to ensure that with their limited skill, they provided some measure of support.
While the academic year only has one more week before it is done, certain teachers and schools did reach out to students to come into the schools. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
Now, the SLTU president is also dismissing the political rancor surrounding the promise of digital devices like laptops to every student. He says, quite frankly, the government has a duty to supply these resources.
The announcement made by Minister of Education, Dr. Gil Rigobert, that every child will be gifted with an electronic device has attracted much attention. While some have commended the minister for the move, others say the minister has been forced to eat her words of criticism for the SLP laptop program. President of the St. Lucia Teachers Union, Don Howell, says it is the government's duty to provide the requisite tools for education to both teachers and students, especially during this time of adversity.
It is the responsibility of the Ministry of Education to ensure that teachers receive the required support and students as well. At present, many teachers are using much of their own resources to ensure the continuity of education.
Howell says, however, any initiative that will benefit students and possibly teachers will be welcomed by the SLTU.
Once the education system is going to benefit, people are going to be better equipped, and it's going to enhance what we do in education. The SLTU would be excited about it. As to actually having it done is another story on its own. But if every teacher, if every student were to be given the tools that is necessary for them to do their work, the SLT would be happy with that.
The public is yet to know when the rollout of the promised electronic devices will commence. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
With the impending closure of the first term of the academic year 2020-2021, Chief Education Officer Dr. Fiona Philip-Meyer is encouraging the school body as well as parents to take care of their psychological health. Nisha Charles tells us more.
As the COVID-19 pandemic sweeps across the globe, it is causing widespread concern, fear, and stress, all of which are natural and normal reactions to the changing and uncertain situations that people find themselves in. Children are likely to experience worry, anxiety, and fear, and this can include the types of fears that are similar to those experienced by adults. The World Health Organization warned that if schools remain closed, then children may no longer have that sense of structure and stimulation that is provided by that environment, as well as the social support that is essential for good mental well-being. It is for this reason that the Chief Education Officer, Dr. Fiona Philip-Meyer, emphasized the need for children to return to the classroom.
For us, the psychological impact has been felt across the board. And in my capacity as Chief Education Officer, it has really allowed me to appreciate the great need of having students back at school and the things that they miss out. And so in an assessment of the impact, we note that so many of our children are struggling, so many of our teachers are struggling, other stakeholders within the education system are struggling. In as much as there have been opportunities, the fact that many of them are not in the physical atmosphere, in the physical space, missing their friends, missing that kind of interaction. And as adults, as people, we're social beings.
The World Health Organization also suggested that mental health and psychosocial support services should be in place, and child protection services need to adapt to ensure that the care is still available for the children of families who need it. The Chief Education Officer assures parents and the wider public that support services are available for those who need it.
Our secondary schools are lucky to have counselors, and we know that we've been reaching out. And the other general announcements as to who needs help through the office of our principals, our teachers, who may be missing out on a child. Where is that child? And how best can we support? But we also encourage parents. Should you need help, should you be aware of something that we're not aware, kindly reach out to us, and the necessary professional counseling and psychosocial support will be afforded to our children.
A select group of students were rescheduled to return to the classroom as of December 1, as part of the recent amendments to the country's protocols regarding COVID-19. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
The National Council on Public Transportation has announced that it is working to ensure that a cashless system is implemented. Drivers are joining the conversation, stating whether they are for or against the move.
Talks of the implementation of a cashless system continue. Bus drivers too have come out to let us know what they think about the implementation of the cashless system. Let's hear what they have to say.
I think it's a long time we've been speaking about that cashless system. I think it will be a good thing for the associations and the bus system on a whole. Yeah, because it's a way of eliminating a lot of the robbing that's happening on the bus stands, broad daylight sometimes, nighttime. You understand? So I think it will be a good thing for the system.
That'll be the best thing since we're getting robbed these days, so better they put it as soon as possible. That's all I can say about the cashless system.
My point is a good idea, but some drivers will not like it.
Why?
Because number one, how are we getting gas? They give me a cashless gas machine. What do you think?
Because we won't have cash on us. So once we can get our money is when the time is right. I feel it will be all right.
And that's what they had to say. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. There's more coming up after the break.